class. Are you there, INR? Say fast. So you are absent then. Janardhanan. Say about Morse method. INR and Janardhanan absent today. Mugilan. Mugilan. Yeah, INR. Give answers on Morse method.
Chloride ion concentration with silver nitrate.
What? Say again.
Ma'am, this method determines chloride ion concentration.
Okay. What is the titrant, titrate, and indicator are used in that?
Silver nitrate.
Okay. Titrate. What is the titrate? What analyte we will analyze? Already gave answer on that. Is chloride ion. The titrant is silver nitrate. What is the indicator used in Morse method? Others can also give answers.
Potassium chromate.
Potassium chromate. Okay. What will be the end point? What is the color change at the end point of titration?
Reddish brown.
Reddish brown color.
Red brown.
Appearance of reddish brown color or appearance of reddish brown precipitate?
Precipitate.
Precipitate. Yeah. So white precipitate will be converted to reddish brown precipitate. Hope you should have observed the color change in the from the picture what I have shown. Now we'll see about the remaining methods of precipitation titration. Okay. How many methods I have mentioned? How many methods are there under precipitation titration? How many methods I told?
3.
4 methods, including modified Volhart's method. Okay. First one is Morse method. Second is Volhart's. Third is modified Volhart's, and fourth is Fajan's method. So other 3 methods: Volhart's, modified Volhart's, and Fajan's method. Let's revise about Morse method and then we'll move on to other methods. So we have discussed in the last class on Morse method. We have seen the introduction and mechanism behind the Morse method, how the chloride is reacting with silver nitrate. So unknown concentration of chloride, how it is determined from known concentration of silver nitrate using potassium chromate as indicator, and what is the application of Morse method. And some important precautions to be taken for Morse method we have discussed. A note on important notes on Morse method we have seen. pH maintenance, Then what is the advantage of Morse method in detecting chloride? Then how we have to observe the color change, and what is the advantage of the precipitate what we get from Morse method. This all we have discussed, and color change during the titration. While preparing solution, how it was with your sample solution, how it was after adding potassium chromate. Only this solution represents only sample and indicator. This solution represents on addition of silver nitrate. This represents appearance of ferric thiocyanate. That is at end point. This is during titration. This is before titration. This is one after reaching the end point, or at the end point. What is the color? Okay, this is before titration, during titration. This is at end point. The color changes we have seen on Morse method. So you have to observe the color change until you get reddish brown color to conclude your titration. Next we'll move on to Volhart's method. This method is otherwise called as, or it is example for indirect or back titration method. Indirect means the titrate, your analyte, halide concentration, chloride, fluoride, like halide concentration is analyzed. Okay, so that it is called as indirect method, whereas Morse method is direct method. Chloride sample is directly titrated with silver nitrate. Here we are actually going to titrate silver ion with the another known concentrated solution. So burette content will be the second titrant. The first titrant what we have to take for chloride ion concentration, what is the first titrant? Silver nitrate. If we directly take chloride sample, we have to add directly silver nitrate from the burette. Here burette content will be silver nitrate. So after adding silver nitrate, we get white precipitate. Where in Volhart's method, the silver nitrate will be added directly to the, at once to the, not drop wise, at once to the chloride ion. After reacting with the chloride ion, the excess silver ion will be titrated back with another titrant. Okay, but unknown concentration of chloride and known concentration of the silver will be reacting at once. Okay, will not adding drop silver nitrate. Silver nitrate of known concentration is added to the chloride. So chloride indirectly reacts to the silver, and that silver, excess silver will be reacted with another titrant. So when we titrate excess of the known concentration with another known concentrated solution, then it is called back titration. So Volhart's method is example for back titration method. Why it is called indirect method? Since chloride is reacting with silver indirectly, and chloride is not directly titrated with silver nitrate, as we have discussed in Morse method. Morse method is example for a direct titration, where Volhart's method is example for indirect or back titration. Direct titration means what? Chloride sample is taken in conical flask, where silver nitrate will be taken in burette, so that direct interaction with chloride and silver nitrate takes place. While adding indicator potassium chromate, the color change occurs. The potassium chromate, silver chromate is formed to give reddish brown precipitate. This is direct titration, where here we are allowing silver and chloride in the conical flask itself, and the excess silver will be reacted with another titrant. So we are going about Volhart's method. So what is it? Is a method for the determination of chlorine, bromine and iodine in the form of halides, chlorides, bromides and iodides by precipitating them with excess silver nitrate. So back titration means you will be always using the term excess of known concentration. What is excess of known concentration? Silver nitrate will be added. So for back titration, what you will be using? Excess some reagent. So where it will be existing? Not in burette, it will be existing in conical flask. Titrate. So titrate here will be excess silver nitrate, and titrating the excess with a thiocyanate solution. So what is another titrant is called thiocyanate. So in back titration, what is the second titrant? Thiocyanate, and actual titrant is thiocyanate here. So the silver will be reacting with thiocyanate solution to give silver thiocyanate. That is the concept here. So what is the example of Volhardt's method? It is the back titration or indirect titration method. And it is also applicable for determination of halides. Chlorine, bromine and iodine will be commonly using for chlorine determination, comparing with bromine and iodine. Halides means bromides and iodides. Okay, we'll be determining ions of this chlorine, bromine and iodine. And who invented Volhardt's method? Jacob Volhardt in 1874. In the year 1874, it was invented by Jacob Volhardt. Let's see the principle. What are the steps involved in Volhardt's method means? In the beginning, you can observe the color change here and the pattern of scheme representation of titration process of the Volhardt's method mentioned here. Here X represents chloride ion, halide ion with a negative symbol, and silver ion of known concentration is added. So in the conical flask itself, silver nitrate is added to the solution of chloride, which contains chloride. For example, sodium chloride you can take, will be added to the silver nitrate. It will form silver chloride. AgX represents the precipitate. And silver will be there in excess. After reacting with all the chloride, according to the concentration of chloride, your known concentration of silver ion will be interacting to give the silver chloride, and the excess will be existing in the solution, right? This excess silver nitrate will be allowed to react with thiocyanate, that is taken in burette. So this is known concentration of titrant, ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate we can prefer as a titrant. Mostly ammonium thiocyanate is preferred. So that represents thiocyanate ion. So this excess silver ion will interact with thiocyanate during titration once the titration started, and it forms silver thiocyanate. Okay, silver thiocyanate, and now this solution is added with, actually it is in the beginning itself added with ferric alum. Ferric alum represents the indicator ferric ammonium sulfate. It is nothing but ferric ammonium sulfate. The ion present in ferric ammonium sulfate, ferric ion, will be interacting after complete reaction of silver nitrate with ammonium thiocyanate. Once all the silver thiocyanate is precipitated, okay, so excess thiocyanate will be interacting with ferric alum indicator to form ferric thiocyanate. So that gives again red color precipitate. Okay, this is red precipitate. This is color change during Volhardt's method. In the beginning, white precipitate and slight white precipitate you can find is due to silver thiocyanate formation, and then it is red color precipitate, dark reddish brown. It is comparing with Morse method. Here you can see it is somewhat orange color, right? The color at the end point, where for Volhardt's method clear color change you will find from white to reddish brown. Okay, this is the end point. So 3 steps it involves. In the beginning, you can observe here in the beginning, silver nitrate is allowed to react with the chloride to form this white precipitate of silver chloride. Once the silver reacted with silver chloride in the beginning itself, here in Morse method you can observe in the beginning no silver nitrate is added, so the solution is clear. Only it has titrant and sample. When from burette silver nitrate is added to get white precipitate, and then once all the chloride is precipitated, the silver nitrate is interacting with the sample to give what? Whether all are listening now? 4 times. And finally it gives reddish brown color. But here in Volhardt's method, in the beginning itself white precipitate forms. Why means we are adding the known amount of excess silver nitrate, known concentration of excess silver nitrate is added to the unknown concentration of chloride in conical flask itself. So that it gives white precipitate in the beginning. So in the first step itself we get white precipitate. And then from the burette we are allowing to add ammonium thiocyanate. Then it forms silver thiocyanate. In acidic media, nitric acid is added to maintain acidic media. And since silver nitrate is also having nitrate ion, we are adding nitric acid comparing with other acids. We cannot add hydrochloric or sulfuric acid. It will interact with the precipitation process. So that nitric acid only is added to maintain the acidic. The 1 molar nitric acid is that will be discussing now. After discussing the principle why we are adding this nitric acid, what is the importance of nitric acid in the Volhardt's method, also we'll be discussing. So in acidic media, you have to remember the reaction occurs where silver nitrate excess will be titrated with ammonium thiocyanate to form that is the color change here. When ammonium thiocyanate is started adding, formation of silver thiocyanate will change the white color to somewhat brownish color, and then once all the silver nitrate is reacted and precipitated by ammonium thiocyanate as silver thiocyanate, what will be existing in the solution? Only ammonium thiocyanate will be there after complete reaction of silver nitrate. So what it will do, this ammonium thiocyanate will interact with the indicator, that is ferric alum, where it contains ferric ion. This will be interacting with thiocyanate to form ferric thiocyanate precipitate, and this ferric thiocyanate gives red color precipitate. So that is your end point. It is also reddish brown, brown color precipitate will be getting. So this is the principle behind Volhardt's method. Now what is the titrant? What is the burette content or titrant in Volhardt's method? Give answers on that. What is the titrant in Volhardt's method? No answers.
Silver ion, ma'am. Silver ion.
Titrant, titrant. Burette content. I am asking about burette content. What is the titrant?
Ammonium thiocyanate.
Very good. Ammonium thiocyanate. Where silver ion is present, in burette or in conical flask?
Conical flask.
Conical. What?
Conical.
In conical flask. So excess of silver ion present in conical flask is titrated back by means of back titration with a thiocyanate, ammonium thiocyanate present in burette. Here burette content is ammonium thiocyanate. Okay. Conical flask content is silver nitrate. That too reacted. Already silver nitrate of some amount has been reacted with chloride ion. Only excess, remaining amount will be there. No, that excess will be reacted with the burette content called, what is the burette content? Ammonium thiocyanate. We can prefer either ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate as burette content for Volhardt's method. So what is the indicator used for Volhardt's method?
Ferric alum.
Ferric alum or ferric ammonium sulfate. Okay. The ion is sulfate ion there. Ferric ammonium sulfate. In what pH range the titration is carried out? What pH range the titration is carried out for Volhardt's method? Why we need to add nitric acid? What is the role of nitric acid there? Any one of you? What is the role of nitric acid in Volhardt's method? No answers?
Acidic content.
Yeah, to provide acidic media. In acidic media only precipitation takes place. Okay. We'll see the importance in the coming slides by nitric acid. Okay. Now let's move on to the next slide, stating about what is the titrant, titrate and indicator, what we have discussed in the before slide about the principle. So titrant here, either titrant represents burette content. Titrate is your analyte. So what is the burette content? You can read from the slide itself. What is the burette content?
Thiocyanate.
Potassium or ammonium thiocyanate. What is titrate used? What type of ions can be analyzed? Halide
Halide
ions.
ions.
Indicator ferric alum or ferric ammonium sulfate. This is otherwise called as ferric ammonium sulfate. So here also again the reaction is mentioned. First actual titration reaction. This is conical flask reaction. The first step represents reaction at means the present at conical flask, inside the conical flask. Okay. So chloride, halide, excess silver ion, it will be reacting to give white precipitate of silver chloride, and the residual silver ion means excess silver ion will be reacting with thiocyanate from burette to give white precipitate of silver thiocyanate through back titration. So this is the back titration process. Conical flask. Here actually you have to change the term. Excess silver you have to give here. No, it's correct only. Residual. Excess silver ion will be reacting beginning with a chloride ion to give a silver chloride. The remaining silver ion will be interacting with thiocyanate to give white precipitate of silver thiocyanate. This reaction takes place in acidic medium. Okay, that is called back titration. Silver and thiocyanate reaction is called back titration. And actual titration is what? Chloride ion reacts with silver ion. This is our sample. It is reacting with silver ion with the equal amount to give silver chloride precipitate. We need to analyze the concentration of chloride ion. We have to titrate back this known concentration of silver ion with another known concentration of ammonium thiocyanate. Okay, so this is back titration method. And the remaining thiocyanate will be interacting with ferric ion present in ferric alum to give brick red precipitate, a dark red precipitate. You can observe the endpoint here. So this is endpoint reaction. This is the 3-step reaction in Volhardt's method. Actual titration reaction in conical flask, then back titration between conical flask and burette, then in conical flask and burette indicator reaction. That is endpoint reaction. Regarding Volhardt's method, can anyone summarize this? Can anyone summarize the reaction, Volhardt's reaction? It is very important. Okay, Volhardt's and modified Volhardt's method definitely you will get in exam. Any one method you will be getting in that Volhardt's method is very important. You will be performing in the practicals also. Okay, so can you summarize? Any one of you can summarize the procedure, what we have discussed till now for Volhardt's method. Hope you have understood. So it comprises of 3 steps. The first step is what? Actual titration between chloride and silver ion. And one more point I didn't say in the last class. Why this precipitation titration is called as argentometry? It is called as argentometry since it involves the reaction with halides, reaction of halides with silver ions, involving the titration involving silver ions represents argentometric titration. Okay, since it is in Greek word, okay, silver represents argenta. And so that the titration involving argenta is called as argentometry. So that it is called as argentometric titration. Precipitation means you know that insoluble residue is formed, so that it is called precipitation titration. Who will explain Volhardt's method? Shortly explain. Any one of you? Who is ready? No one? Okay, then listen to next topic, then we'll discuss later. Summarize, just to prepare and understand, have to explain later. Precautions to be taken for Volhardt's method are: during the titration, in resulting solution, the concentration of nitric acid should be 0.5 molar to 1 molar. Okay, what will be the concentration of nitric acid added? Here you have seen that nitric acid is added to the conical flask to the reaction to maintain acidic condition. So how much concentration of nitric acid should be added? 0.5 molar to 1 molar. Between this range only we need to add. Mostly 1 molar nitric acid is preferred. Here, strong nitric acid is not used. Concentrated nitric acid is not used because it prevents the formation of thiocyanate ion complex, that is ferric thiocyanate complex, where ferric thiocyanate complex forms at the end point reaction. Ferric thiocyanate complex forms. If we add concentrated nitric acid, it blocks the formation or it prevents the of endpoint, so it interferes with the endpoint. To avoid that, we have to maintain the concentration between 0.5 molar to 1 molar. Okay, here acidic medium prevents the hydrolysis. Why we need to add this nitric acid? Why we need to maintain acidic medium? It prevents the hydrolysis of ferric ion as ferric hydroxide. Okay, ferric ammonium sulfate is there, no, it will not be hydrous to ferric hydroxide. To avoid that, we are maintaining this base hydroxide. To prevent the formation of ferric hydroxide, we are maintaining acidic medium during Volhart's method. That is why nitric acid is added throughout the titration. That to what concentration of nitric acid? What is the concentration of nitric acid? 0.5 molar and between 0.5 molar and 1 molar. Mostly 1 molar is preferred. Okay. The solution must be free from nitrous acid, HNO2. Otherwise, it gives the instant red coloration, forming the thiocyanic acid. It will be interacting with thiocyanate ion that is coming from ammonium thiocyanate. Nitrous acid, if it is formed, the reaction must be free from nitrous acid. Only nitric acid should exist. If it is present, it will form thiocyanic acid. It will give instant red coloration instead of giving at the end point. Then temperature should be maintained around 25 degrees Celsius, that is ambient temperature. If we increase the temperature, then at elevated temperature, what happens? Red color of ferric thiocyanate, that is at end point, that will not exist for long time to observe. It will be fading, so you will not come to conclusion what is the end. So you will be keep on adding thiocyanate to get a constant end point. That will be affected if the temperature is elevated. Elevated means increased from 25 degrees Celsius. So at room temperature, it is convenient to carry out the titration. Okay, these are all the 3 precautions we need to take while performing Volhart's method. What is the first one? Nitric acid concentration between 0.5 molar to 1 molar. If we add concentrated nitric acid, then it forms, means it prevents the formation of ferric thiocyanate complex at the end point. Then why we need to maintain this acidic medium? To avoid the formation of ferric hydroxide. Ferric ion should be existing to form ferric thiocyanate to get accurate endpoint. If it goes for formation of ferric hydroxide, we will not be getting endpoint. Then nitrous acid formation should be prevented from the reaction. Then because it will form thiocyanic acid, it will give instant red color. So your endpoint will be affected. Then temperature should not elevate above 25 degrees Celsius. To avoid the color formation, fading of color formation at end point. So to get accurate endpoint, we need to follow all the precautions. Then what are the advantages of Volhart's method? This method is very useful where the titrations have to be performed at low pH, at acidic pH. Then strong acidic environment gives advantage for halides analysis because ions like carbonate, oxalate, arsenate, this all will not interact, do not interfere at acidic environment. Okay, carbonate, other halides, other negative ions, okay, will not be interfering with the halide ion interaction and gives accurate result due to back titration. Okay, back titration gives more accuracy in results. Now, why we have to go with Volhart's method? It is also same method. still to increase the accuracy of the measurements. Okay, why the Volkhart's method is modified? In order to get more accurate endpoint. Results. What is the change comparing with other Volkhart's method is we are nitrobenzene. We are going to use nitrobenzene along with other reagents, ammonium thiocyanate, ferric alum, nitric acid, silver nitrate, and your chloride sample. We are going to add nitrobenzene. This is only the change comparing with the Volkhart's method, in modified Volkhart's method. What is the role of nitrobenzene? Means it covers silver chloride precipitate. You can observe the picture. It covers the silver chloride precipitate. Where silver chloride precipitate forms when we add known concentration of excess silver nitrate ion, silver nitrate sample to the chloride ion, it gives silver chloride. This white precipitate is covered by means of nitrobenzene. Nitrobenzene is somewhat viscous solution so that it coats the silver chloride precipitate. Okay, and then what happens? Why it is covering means to get, in order to get accurate endpoint. Okay, in order to get accurate endpoint, allow the silver chloride to react with thiocyanate to form silver thiocyanate. If silver chloride is without covering, if it is present, this silver ion also may be means reacting with ammonium thiocyanate to give silver thiocyanate. Since silver chloride will be soluble in nature, so it will be water soluble. It will be solubilizing easily, so that silver ion will be released from the precipitate to react ammonium thiocyanate. So you won't get accurate endpoint. To protect that reaction, we are covering the formed silver chloride nitrobenzene. It is done with nitrobenzene. Okay, so only excess silver nitrate will be there. That only will be reacting with ammonium thiocyanate to give silver thiocyanate, and excess ammonium thiocyanate will interact with ferric ion to give ferric ammonium ferric thiocyanate. That will be the endpoint. So the same reaction only, we are using nitrobenzene. It is a viscous liquid to coat silver chloride found. In order to avoid the solubility of silver chloride as silver ion, and it will not interact with, avoids interaction with ammonium thiocyanate, formed silver chloride, so that we can accurate how much amount of chloride was present in the solution. Got it? This is about modified Volkhart's method. If you are not understanding, if you are interacting with me only, which part you are not understanding, if you ask, I may explain again. Okay. The questions in the middle, whichever part you are not understanding, you can ask me. You can clarify then and there. I may not be knowing, I'm only talking, right? I may not be knowing whether I'm going very or. So while asking questions, you can arise your doubts. Which part you didn't understand, you can ask, so that I will be explaining again. Okay, Devarajan, which part you have doubt? What is the difference in modified Volkhart's then? Anyone? Sanjay, Sudhir, Madhumita. What is the difference between Volkhart's and modified Volkhart's?
Addition of nitrobenzene.
We are adding nitrobenzene. What purpose? Give the reasons.
To cover silver chloride
precipitate. To cover silver chloride precipitate. Why it is to be covered with the nitrobenzene?
So that only excess
To get
silver
accurate endpoint,
reacts
ma'am.
with
endpoint, and we are avoiding the reaction with the silver chloride, whether only excess silver nitrate to be reacted with ammonium thiocyanate, right? Not silver present in silver chloride precipitate to be reacted with ammonium thiocyanate. We should not allow that reaction. So that only it is covered with nitrobenzene. We are protecting that precipitate. Why we need to protect? Since our sample of chloride is present in that precipitate only. So if we want to quantify silver chloride, means chloride present along with the precipitate accurately, then we need to cover that precipitate. Since the solubility of silver chloride is in water, it occurs. It will be solubilized. The precipitate is water soluble in nature. So it will be slowly start solubilizing, then it will release silver ion. It will again react with along with unreacted silver ion. It will also react with ammonium thiocyanate to give silver thiocyanate. Okay. So to prevent this reaction only, in modified Volhardt's method, it is covered with nitrobenzene. Nitrobenzene, how it covers the silver chloride? Since it is a thick liquid, somewhat a viscous liquid, like glycerin, you should have seen some viscous liquids, castor oil, not that much viscous, but it is somewhat thick liquid, nitrobenzene. Benzene you would have seen, no. So it will be able to coat the precipitate formed. So we'll be getting a colloidal precipitate, means coated precipitate, so that you can get accurate endpoint. This is only regarding modified Volhardt's method. Now let's move on to Fajan's method. You can write reactions and other things of Volhardt's method only for modified Volhardt's method also, only except this point. You can write this point. Along with this, you can explain all principal mechanism, advantages, precautions, everything what we have discussed for Volhardt's method only, you can write for modified also, along with this important point. Now let's move on to the fourth method called Fajan's method. It is otherwise known as indicator adsorption method. Indicator adsorption method. Indicator will be adsorbed. Where it will be adsorbed? What is the reaction in precipitation? Silver ion. It involves halide ion and silver ion. It is coming under argentometry. So definitely the reaction will be between chloride and silver. Common halide will be chloride. Chloride and silver chloride will be formed. So this formed silver chloride will be adsorbing. Adsorption is surface phenomenon, getting adsorbed over the surface. And now like at your skin surface, dust particles are getting adsorbed. No, likewise, indicator will be getting adsorbed onto the precipitate. Okay, so based on that, indicator will be changing its color. So that represents the reaction completion or endpoint. Okay, so in Fajan's method, we are going to use the concept of indicator adsorption. So it is called indicator adsorption method. Not absorption, it is adsorption. You have to know the spelling. Adsorption is surface phenomenon. Absorption means inside some substance it will be absorbed. Okay, not absorption, it is adsorption. And who invented this Fajan's method? Kazimierz Fajans. Kazimierz Fajans, between this year, his history, and he found that fluorescein and its derivatives. What indicator? Fluorescein and its derivatives are adsorbed to the surface of colloidal silver chloride. That is the precipitate of silver chloride, it gets adsorbed. He found that. So based on his concept only, the method, titration method has been developed. And in this, it is taken from a textbook. The silver reacts with chloride to form silver chloride. It is not very clear, but it has important points. This is again described by another in another slides, coming slides. Okay, this is the actual reaction where silver chloride is precipitated, right? And this precipitated silver chloride, all are hearing now? Precipitated silver chloride will be adsorbing the indicator. Okay, you can see before equivalence point and after equivalence point, excess of chloride ion will be existing in the solution. So that represents negative charge. Since chloride ion will be carrying negative charge, so here you can find negative. And after reaching the end point, only Ag plus ion, silver ions will be there. That is only titration ions will be there. It is also direct titration only. We are not adding, we are not going with back titration. Excess means chloride sample will be reacting with silver chloride to form silver chloride, and beginning chloride ion concentration will be high, so negative charged solution will be in the solution, negatively charged ions will be more. After titration, once all the silver chloride is precipitated, no negative charge will be existing, only silver ion will be existing. That causes positively charged solution. So negative charge and between change of positive charge will change the color of indicator. That is, fluorescent color will be changed at negative charge and positive charged solution. So that color change represents the completion of reaction silver and chloride. So from which we can calculate the quantity of chloride present. This is the concept behind Fajon's method. It is also silver nitrate reacts with common chloride, that is sodium chloride, to give silver chloride precipitate, and this silver chloride is the first reaction. Okay, sodium chloride interacts to give silver chloride precipitate, and this is before equivalence point how the solution will be, and after equivalence point indicator will be interacting with positively charged silver ion to form a negatively charged indicator solution. Okay, so the color change from positive to negative occurs after endpoint. After endpoint, only indicator ions will be there. Indicator ions are negative ions. Again, it will be just in another system of indicator reaction. In the beginning, the solution will be added with chloride, means chloride sample, and the chloride sample and indicator. The yellow color represents dichlorofluorescein indicator, fluorescein and its derivatives. Then silver nitrate is added to get precipitate. And now it will be start absorbing the surface, which one fluorescein. Once all the chloride is precipitated as white precipitate, excess silver ions will be there, that is positively charged. Where dichlorofluorescein will be negatively charged, it will be absorbed towards positively charged silver ion to give pink color. So once all the chloride is precipitated as white precipitate, at the end point, the indicator will be absorbed onto the coming from burette to give pink color. This is the end point. Color change observed in Fajon's method. So at last you will get pink color solution, precipitate. So yellow color is converted to white precipitate because of reaction of silver and chloride, and because of reaction of silver and indicator, it gives pink color. Okay, this is the color change between Fajon's reaction. And what are all the indicators used means it is not clear. I am mentioning dichlorofluorescein and eosin. Eosin will be acting at pH 1.2 and this one at 4.4 dichlorofluorescein. Fluorescein will be maintained at pH between, reacting with the pH between 7 and 10. Ionizable pH. So with this precipitation methods coming under precipitation titration gets over. In another topic under precipitation titration is how we will estimate the sodium chloride according to your syllabus. That I am giving as the assignment, okay, to you, how to determine sodium chloride by precipitation method. You have to find out procedure. By Morse method, how we can perform. By Volhart's method, what is the procedure? By Fajon's method, what is the procedure? Okay, you have to collect all three procedures for the estimation of chloride and meet in the next week. Now, what is the date? 21st. Now, on the next Wednesday, you have to submit the okay. And Friday, you will be having class test, right? Friday, you have class test on Unit 2. Thoroughly read whatever concepts we have discussed under Unit 2 and come. I will be posting questions on that day only. Okay, you have to read the whole chapter and come. I will be asking questions accordingly. You have to write the answers. Maximum for 20 marks it will be asked. So 1 hour you can write the class test. Next week Wednesday you have to submit assignment. On which you will be submitting assignment, estimation of sodium chloride by argentometric method. Okay. Is there any doubt? So what are the methods we have discussed under precipitation titration? Morse method, Volhart's method, modified Volhart's method, and Fajon's method. Morse method is direct titration method. Volhart's method is back titration method. Titrant used there is ammonium thiocyanate or potassium thiocyanate. Pajan's method is indicator adsorption method. So what are the indicators used in Morse method? Potassium chromate. In Volhard's method, ferric ammonium sulfate or ferric alum. And in Pajan's method, fluorescent and its derivatives. Okay, fluorescein, dichlorofluorescein, eosin. These all indicators used in Pajan's method. You can refer the e-books uploaded in the classroom also for further clarifications, and if any doubts you can ask here also. Okay, what topics? For assignment, I'll give you the topic estimation of sodium chloride by all three methods. Sodium chloride by precipitation methods. I will be posting in the classroom itself. Okay, precipitation titration method. This is just to be submitted in the next Wednesday. In the same time, you have to submit assignment. Have to write in your assignment book separately, scan the assignment, okay, as a PDF form, written assignment in the PDF form, post it in the assignment column, what I'm going to post in your classroom, okay, that will be evaluated. You'll be writing nearly 5 pages, means that 5 pages you have to scan as a single PDF and share the PDF in the classroom for evaluation, okay. Likewise, class test also you will be writing on Friday, coming Friday, in the unit 2, acid-base titration and non-aqueous titration. Have to write class test. I'll be posting question during class hour. Before class starts, I'll be posting the question. You have to write and submit. Okay. Okay. Thank you all. With this, I'm going to stop the class. Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Devarajan, clear?
Clear, ma'am.
Okay, okay. If any doubt is there, you can post, or you can even post in the classroom also your doubts. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Third, unit 2, you have to read thoroughly and come.
Thank you,
okay,
ma'am.
for the test. Go through all the materials, e-books I have uploaded in the classroom. Go through accordingly and come to the class test on Friday. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.